Let's talk about influence. Now, Joe obviously can't participate because he lacks the joy of being a father and the fulfillment that joy will bring him. But your kids, you got them as babies, and then you have pretty much complete control of their environment and influences up until preschool. And then you open it up for a half a day. And then by the time you get to kindergarten, it's a full day of influence. And
outside influence.
Huh?
Of outside
influence. Correct. And then before you know it, they're in, like Jana's in 5th grade, and the influence is substantial to a point where when she gets in a certain vibe or mood, I almost like I sit and look at her at the table like, do I even know who you are anymore? Do you ever feel that way, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as these children get older, it's you don't have the influence on their life that you did at one point.
That's a fact.
That is a harsh reality to come to. Now, and today, literally in the past, this year might be a little different, but
right,
and even like the way back in the day, they have, and my kids are, I think, more plugged in literally than yours are, but as far as, outside influences from YouTube and, video games and things of that nature is a lot different than the way we grew up.
For sure.
So I think it's a constant struggle to try to stay on some sort of page with your children, which I've really tried to work on during this time we've all been together to try to find some common ground. So
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember from the other side. I don't know. We all have a little bit different upbringing, but like especially like my parents weren't home much. I was home like by myself a lot. So like it easily, and then I went to military boarding school. So it easily came to the point where like my parents didn't know me. Like and I remember that was partly on purpose on my part. It's like you just don't want to hang out with your parents and shit anymore at a certain while.
Right.
I think it's normal, right?
Yes.
Like, that's just how it's going to be no matter what you do.
Yes, I have. Now, let me ask you the question, right? Because I think that as parents, it's always like, what are these kids teaching my kid? You know what I mean? Have you ever been in a circumstance where you've been concerned about your kid influencing another kid?
No.
Okay. So,
and that's because nobody thinks they're the bad guy.
Right. So,
unless you know.
Right.
Your kid is that kid.
Right. So I recently to me there's like I have an expectation of a certain give and take with that shit, right? Like there's nobody's, like I know all your kids, Chris, they're all great kids. I know all of Adam's kids, they're all great kids. But like there's always some kind of like give and take. Like the shit is never going to be perfect because no two families live in value and have the same exact fucking moral compass and whatever the case may be, which is not a bad thing. But like I just recently became aware of my oldest possibly having a not negative influence, but a negative impact on some other kids. And that one caught me off guard, right? So let me try to. It's like pets, right? I mean, not to compare kids to pets, but like
I know about pets. I can relate.
Okay, there you go. Now you can join in the conversation. If you have a pit bull and you have a snake and you have a what the fuck is that? And a golden retriever. Okay. If the snake bites, you expect it to bite. If the pit bull gets aggressive towards another animal, you expect it to get aggressive towards another animal. And if the golden retriever gets something and brings it back to you, that's also an expectation, right? So both good and bad expectations I feel like we have of our kids. But I often feel like generally in my life, I'm like, if I get something like a report from the teacher or something, it's always, what did my kid do? I need to know what my kid fucked this up somehow. Let me know how. But when it comes to stuff like this, I ended up feeling a little defensive. And like, I had to sit back and really think about it and take it in and then be like, no, like, you know, in this particular pocket, my kid fucked up. And like, dealing with your kids fucking up is, I feel like it's something you don't get warned about. And I don't know how to, when it's like, if they fuck up and it's on their own, it's one thing. If they fuck up and it has a negative impact on somebody else, that's a different thing for me.
It's a responsibility thing.
Yeah. And look, and Chris, for instance, perfect example. Like, Selena has gotten aggressive, you know, with his kids. And like, we have found that to be completely fucking unacceptable, right? Like, and we discipline and we handle that appropriately.
Bobby, it was okay until the curb stomp. I mean, that's really what takes people off.
See,
damn, where have you been hanging out?
See, and I got to take a little bit of responsibility for that because we showed them American History X when they were in the womb.
Right. No, you hold both their arms. You hold both their arms behind their back.
And then like, you know, like you said, Chris, like, you know, your kids are a bit more plugged in. So like, you know, Kennedy has shown Jaina things, social media things that like we've had to explain, but it's like all of it is relatively like nobody's crippled and nobody's jumping off a bridge. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just imperfections in children's lives that just like that shit just happens. And you try to put up borders as much as it is, but when you know that your kid fucked up, like really fucked up, that's been a hard one for me to deal with this past week.
I'll tell you a story. When Mason was in ninth grade, I believe, he had a cell phone. Mm-hmm. And he let some kid borrow his cell phone. That kid sent a text threatening somebody else. Mm-hmm. And, you know, luckily the principal had dealt with, or the assistant principal had dealt with my wife before. Bless her heart, and basically just said, I know Mason's a good kid, but, you know, this shit can't happen again.
Right.
You know, that school shootings and things of that nature. So,
absolutely. Everything.
So that was a big wake up call for us, and you know, for him as well. Like, look, you gotta. That's your name on that phone. You know, you can't let, just because some kid that, you know, whether you're friends with him or, oh, this cool kid wants to use my whatever, you can't let that shit happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, that, and as hard as it is as a parent to see that kind of shit going on, sometimes, like you said, nobody's in a coma, nobody lost a limb.
Right.
Sometimes those lessons, and you and I can attribute to this from our childhoods, those are the lessons you need to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's a hard pill to swallow looking at it from the lens of a parent.
Yeah. And like, and I think in my life generally, like I've had my kids fuck up, and it's, you know, they fucked up, you know, and like we can deal with it. But like when they bring other kids into it, then it's like, you know, then it's like, well, now it's complicated, you know, and that is fucking with me. And there's also like, you know, there's some, and I'll get into this on a different platform because there's, you know, other people's kids and parents involved and shit, and I don't want to make a big deal out of it. And it's ultimately not a huge deal. Everything is going to be fine. But, you know, there's a part of me that's like, man, like, I don't know. I feel like my parents in a way, or my father anyway, where it's like, man, like some of it I think is attention seeking. And I'm like, what the fuck else do you want? You know what I mean? But you can't do that. You know,
right?
Because you got to have like some real conversation, which I'm all about. But you know, when it's like, you know, it's like the classic, like I paid a light bill, like, you know what I mean? Like you start thinking that way because you're, you know, you start thinking about all the sacrifices that you make in order to make sure that their life is as comfortable as possible. And when they express some sort of discomfort with their lifestyle, it's you know, I don't know if anger is the appropriate response. Perhaps it's hurt, but it's whatever it is vivid to me.
I mean, it's also relative, right? Like, depends on how much hardship your kid has in your life. Like, some things just seem hard when it's not hard because it's too easy. And also, like, kids being kids, they don't really fucking know, like, what. Like, when I was a kid, like, I knew my parents worked a lot and stuff. Like, I didn't really know, like, what paying bills and all that shit is until, like, I got much older. Like, you have an idea of it, oh yeah, my parents, I have food and, roof over my head and stuff, but you don't really think about it.
Right.
You don't really know. So.
And yeah.
And I'll say from that standpoint is, and there's nothing wrong with either way here. My parents, I never knew anything financially that was going on in our house. Never knew. And oblivious, no clue.
Right.
And we're a little bit more transparent with the kids about things than I, was raised. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either way, but I think now it's maybe a little bit more important for them to understand. Like Mason, he'll be 18 next month.
Jesus.
And
yeah,
it will in some form or fashion be done with high school. They're still not sure what that looks like.
Right.
I mean, the kid's worked, a real job for like 2 months because he's been focusing on school, and the plan was for him to get in this print production program and then get some work out of that and get college out of it, and it's all shot to shit now. So the reality of the real world is going to slap him in the face. It's not in a situation where we're, all right, you're 18, get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's not like that. And even if it was under these circumstances, it wouldn't be.
Right, exactly.
But hey, listen, I know there's no jobs. There's nowhere to live. You need a battery for your car for it to go anywhere.
God, I have a really terrible joke to make. Oh.
Do it.
I heard there's some space at the nursing homes.
That's really bad.
I know it's in poor taste. I'm sorry. I don't mean it. It's how I deal with adversity. It's how I deal with adversity and pain. All right. So, I'm just. This has been a challenging week for me in parenthood.
It's just surprising because, like, I mean, I don't know how else to word it, but like, Jaina's always a good one to me.
Exactly.
Like, she's the one. I'm like, I don't have to worry about her. She'll do the right thing.
Exactly.
In my head.
And here's a second question. You ready for the second question? I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Is anime the new gangster rap?
What? What the fuck does that mean?
Okay, I'll tell you. All right.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear this because I have some input on that as well.
So my kids love anime, right? Like, well, Jaina loves it, and then therefore Selena loves it.
Right.
But like, they love My Hero Academia. They love Pokemon. Yes. They love. I mean, the list goes on and on. Those are the only two I know. I know that Chris, your kids are into anime, right? I know that Adam's kids have been into anime. Like, I know a lot of people's kids are into anime, right? When this shit went on with my daughter, and we ended up having to talk to parents, one of the things that kept coming up in the conversation is another child that's in the mix of this issue, and that she's really into anime, and that some of it is disturbing. And this sort of talk, which I understand that perspective, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it sounds awfully familiar to me of, well, you can't be listening to something that says fuck the police.
I have multiple. That's one of the things, thinking points I had to myself this week as I, do stuff. It's weird to me, but like when people. Anime is a very distinct thing, right? You think anime, you know what it is. Someone say anime in your head, you see anime, the drama and stuff. But like it's a medium. People talk about anime like it's one thing.
People talk about anime like they talk about comic books.
No, even in comic books, there's diversity. Like no,
I understand that. But if I go ask my neighbor across the street, hey, tell me what you know about comic books, he's like, I don't know, Superman. Mm-hmm. When in reality, there's things like, I mean, I'm not going to get in the weeds like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but Bobby, you have a ton of comics that have nothing to do with superheroes.
Correct.
Right? It's a very broad genre.
Yes.
And go ahead. Well, what I was getting to, Joe, is people say, yeah, I watch anime. Well, guess what? My daughter's in love with the anime about goddamn volleyball right now.
Right.
Shit. And it's so wholesome. But the thing is, like, anime, it would, if you replace the word anime with TV, it would be the same fucking thing.
Right.
I agree with you.
The
Yeah.
diversity of it. Like you just thinking about difference between Pokemon and the volleyball anime and My Hero Academia. That's three completely different fucking things.
Right. No, I 100% agree with you. But
at least gangsta rap is labeled gangsta rap.
Yeah, but see, but yeah, no,
yeah, but you know what?
But that shit got an unfair label also. There was a lot of people
at a certain point.
Yeah.
At a certain point, common sense is the same as NWA because it's rap.
Yes, there was a lot of people that got lumped in that gangster rap category that definitely don't foot that bill.
Yeah, and it's not. So yeah, it's dumb.
Like my wife is watching Fairy Tale right now.
Fairy Tale's okay, but it's like a poor man's One Piece.
I don't know what any of that means, but I know there's 9 seasons of it, and she's about halfway through it.
No man should wear a one piece.
It's called a singlet unless it doesn't have legs. Then it's called a butcher.
A butcher.
That's what you call. I'm trying to think of a wrestler. Do you know who Jerry the King Lawler is?
Yes.
You know how he wore that one strap shoulder thing?
Yeah.
But like it just came, but it had tights underneath it, and the legs were cut like tighty whities. That top is called a butcher.
Is Andre the Giant or something like that?
Andre the Giant wore a butcher, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one strap or two strap. Totally sidebar here.
Mm-hmm.
Please proceed.
Yeah, well, no, just that like the same way that rap music was used as like the catalyst for the scapegoat of youth rebellion.
Yeah,
I feel like I am seeing that, and I've seen it with many things. I've seen it with Marilyn Manson, and I've seen it with video games. I've seen it, with many things. But I feel like this generation, at least on my end so far, anime has been that catalyst.
Weird. I mean, I can see why, but I guess, yeah, I don't. It's hard because I'm in it.
Yeah,
I can't. And I'm going to see from outside the box.
And to be fair, it's hard for me because I'm adjacent to it. Do you know what I mean? But like, so I put myself. So like, I'm trying to see things from different points of view.
Yeah.
So I put myself in these people's shoes, right? And this one particular family, church-going family, the whole bit. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but very conservative in their life views, morals, values, etc. And now their daughter comes downstairs and is drawing a picture of a girl with horns in a schoolgirl outfit where the skirt is probably too short to attend any public middle school.
Yeah.
From her perspective, I get how that is unnatural. Do you know what I mean? In the same way that my dad, didn't get that, like, just because NWA was saying fuck the police or Ice-T was saying cop killer, that it had nothing to do with me wanting to go out and kill a cop or saying fuck the police any more than it had me wanting to pick up a giant hammer and hit a cat over the head with it because I watched Tom and Jerry.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But I think that there's something about, and it might have, to tie it back to my initial conversation, it might have something to do with it's not me. You know what I mean? It's not me. It's these animes. It's not me. It's this gangster rap. It's not me. It's these video games.
My kid's a good kid, but they got influenced by bad shit.
But yeah, but once they fell into fucking the pit of Compton, they just never came back out of it, or you know what I mean, or wherever. Okinawa.
I'll elaborate on that to say that,
please.
My parents weren't really into. I mean, I didn't share the music I was listening to because my parents listened to Neil Diamond and the Eagles. I mean, that was the pinnacle. And my mom liked Celine Dion.
Right.
You know the vibes. Light 96.9.
All rocking, by the way. All three of those.
Celine Dion can suck a dick, but other than that,
can she?
Let's just pretend it's a cactus instead. So I would assume that my parents would have no interest or clue. Like I'm doing that thing that goes around Facebook, 10 albums that influenced you. By the way, I need to do that today. I missed today so far. And I picked, it's a bunch of honestly alternative shit and rock shit from the 90s and Dr. Dre and of course West Coast gangster rap, Bobby, of course.
You love it.
But my parents have no clue what that is, to the extent of, like, my kids playing Minecraft and Roblox and listen and watch anime. I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
Like, no idea. But the thing is, it doesn't bother me that I don't know. I don't. Sorry, I don't need to know. That's their thing. I mean, and honestly, Kelly plays those games with them, and she watches anime, and I don't. So, at a certain point, I kind of feel like I'm left out. But from the anime stuff, it's like I don't want to learn a new universe, and that's lazy on my part. It's like I'm happy with the media I'm in now, but if they want to explore this world, and stuff my kids probably shouldn't watch that they do,
Same.
because I don't police it. It's
we watched shit we weren't supposed to when we were like,
exactly.
Did watch what they were supposed to though. Like,
well, and let's be honest, us finding a penthouse, under a bridge somewhere is a little it's a lot easier for them to click 3 buttons and see people's buttholes. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, I know, Joe. It's not a buffet. Okay,
A buffet.
it's not a buffet. There's not a chocolate fountain. That's not what that is.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. But I also think that in some level, you have a little bit more checks and balances because Kelly's kind of into it.
Exactly.
Where my wife is never going to watch that shit. Like never. And
you have Uncle Dolphin next door though.
I do. But truth be told, we've used him as a resource. Like we've hit up, haven't we, Joe? Hit you up like, what's the deal with this? And you'd be like, it's this. Oh, okay, that's cool.
And like, what's okay to watch? What's not okay to watch?
Yeah, like we've done that before because it's the only kind of like inside look we have at that world. But like, I can't watch all of this stuff. The amount of time that they spend consuming content, especially during COVID season, is way more than I have in terms of time to consume content. So like, there's just no way I can, other than just saying you can't watch anything. But like, there's certain things that I do that are like bullshit checks and balances. Like it's YouTube Kids or it's Netflix Kids, and I'm trusting YouTube and I'm trusting Netflix to make the appropriate decisions for my children, which is shitty, But like what else?
I mean, it's a tool. It's there to be, it's there to help.
Right.
Like you can't do it. But I do have a thing though, like. Like, okay, so like Chris, you're not worried about your kids, like what they're watching and stuff, especially because you have someone like Kelly's, taking care of that.
She's their anime spirit animal. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like if you're not worried about what your kids doing, like you think your kids are fine and they, which is fine. But like for these parents who are like, saying, oh, animes is this or that, like, I mean, I really seriously doubt they actually took any fucking time to look into it, other than to blanket statement it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And
no, for sure.
Some responsibility on the parents to check at least some of that before they say shit, or B, like maybe try to like just engage your kids in what they like, just as human beings. Just.
No, for sure.
You're not gonna love everything they love, and perhaps you don't care at all, but like.
And I also think you shouldn't.
I think parents should. Like, it's your fucking kids. It's their fucking interest. Like, if they're passionate about it, maybe just fucking take 5-10 minutes out of the day to see what they're into. Even if you're not into it.
I agree. But just to piggyback off your point, I also think it's kind of important that you don't like it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's important for kids to have something that, like, your parents don't understand. Like if I were to throw in Wu-Tang's 36 Chambers and my dad was like, you know what, this is a bit of all right, turn it up. All of a sudden, it would seem lame to me. You know what I mean? I would be like, it's important in a way to have that thing that's specifically yours and doesn't belong to the generation prior.
Unless they want it, because I remember I super appreciated it when there was a couple of times when I was a kid, my dad took the time to sit down and paint a fucking miniature with me, and I know he didn't give a fuck about it.
Yep.
Like that meant the world to me.
I had a very similar set of circumstances, but like I didn't. It's like that give and take though. I didn't need that to be my thing. I liked sharing,
right.
But like there are things where I preferred that. This was mine. I remember my dad asking me one time, like during like the C. Dolores Tucker era and the. Whatever fucking Gore's wife Tipper to the Tipper era and all that shit, when the content of lyrics, specifically rap lyrics, became like a really hot button.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad asking me like about Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and like and Two Live Crew and whether or not I was listening to this. And I remember telling him, I was like, look, I listened to a little bit of it, but I'm more of an East Coast guy. And I could see in my dad's face that he was like, I don't even understand the answer to the question I'm asking. I'm out of my league. I'm just gonna let it go.
Right.
You know, like, and it would be the same thing like if I didn't know you guys. You know, and I went to my kid and I was like, what anime are you watching? He'd be like, it's about volleyball. I'd be like, bullshit, pull it up. I'm taking a look. You know, because I would be like, there's no fucking way. You know, like who would make such a thing? Would be my initial response. You know, without any prior knowledge to it.
But then you would learn about it.
Right.
I mean, did you learn, just a gist of it?
Right. But it is something that I find fascinating.
Yeah. So, see, you know what the easiest thing to do is? Fucking not have kids.
No, I mean, dude, hey, you'll never hear me say that it's the easy choice. You know what I mean? You'll never hear me say that. You know, there's just like everything else, man. There's a give and take to this shit, and you know, that's the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, like fucking tentacle porn is also anime. I don't know. Maybe that's all the parents know about it. Everybody knows about tentacle porn.
Yeah.
Like, you know nothing about anime at all, but you know tentacle porn exists.
Yeah. Well, see, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if this other kid's parents know that. I don't know about tentacle porn.
Wow.
Because it's
at
not
some point, it's like a personality clash. Like when you're like super conservative and church going and stuff, like there is going to be a disconnect that you're not going to fucking bridge that divide with your kids
and age. You know, I don't like even so. I grew up in the midst of it, right? Like especially when it hit, peak popularity in terms of my generation, like the Akira, 3x3 Eyes, like Wicked City.
Good reference. Oh, great reference. Bobby.
All that stuff. Like I was in the shit at that point. I watched all those, but like I didn't know about the porn side of it until I was at Adams one night and he had some Legend of the Overfiend.
Yes.
And then when I saw that, it wasn't my bag. You know what I mean? Like but had I not been turned on to that, it would have taken me way late into my internet days of pornography to discover the animated element to it. You know what I mean? So like I think for your typical normie that's just becoming aware of who fucking Falcon is, or you know what I mean, Iron Patriot, they certainly don't know about tentacle porn monsters.
Yeah, I guess it's just common nerd knowledge. If you're
correct. That I agree with. If you're at all involved in this shit, you've at least heard the rumblings of it behind closed doors.
Rumbles.
We were talking a little bit behind the scenes that there's not much going on new in our Rona Roms, so we'll just combine them both if there's anything that anybody wants to talk about regarding it. Chris, we'll start with you. How was your week?
So let's see here. I think I've slept 7 times. So let me think. I don't fucking know. I have no clue.
Plus, look, the fucking week's just running into days, man.
It is, man. Especially me not really leaving the house. I mean, I went to the post office twice last week, and I went to Walmart once, maybe. But it's just like I actually got some toys in. I ordered and.
What'd you get?
Great, live fucking car thing, by the way. I watched it on mute, but like it was interesting. I definitely did one of those cars you had.
Yes.
That fucking sports car, and that fucking I don't know, some kind of looks like a rich man's fucking sedan. That thing was fucking interesting.
Rich man's sedan. So
you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. So I got in the Baron Benz figure, which is what Kelly and I did that cave gold pile diorama for Toy Fair. That released, so it was cool to get one of those in a little early.
Mm-hmm.
And what else did I got something else in. I got the don't accidentally swallow Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah, mine should be coming here any second.
Oh my God, I'll be honest, I forgot totally that I had pre-ordered those, and like Amazon, just the alerts come from Amazon just so randomly. It's just like I don't even pay attention. And then I opened a box with something else in it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about these. The same thing I ordered, like, I forgot I'd ordered 3 of those Stan Lee figures.
Right.
I didn't even remember. I opened the box. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Why did you get 3?
At the time, I liked the suited bodies, and I'm like, well, it's kind of a casual thing. But now I'm like trying to do even the soft good stuff on that, but it's still, I don't know. I'll flip them or give them away or something. But I do have I did a live stream with I have a whole fleet of 12 scale-ish vehicles. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I finally just sat down and did it. But I went through like, gosh, I don't know, maybe 20 vehicles that are in between probably 14th and 10th scale.
That dump truck was way off.
Yeah, the dump truck's off. I actually sold that one kind of rusted out like crane truck. I sold it. Somebody hit me up and wanted it, so I actually need to box that up today. I'm glad I reminded myself. But it was fun to do. I mean, there's a lot of confusion out there about, you know, what scale works with 6-inch figures, and some of the best stuff I think I have, like the John Wick car everybody always likes to see is a 10th scale RC car, and the 10th scale stuff seems to work a little better with the say the Mezcos, for example, and even the Marvel Legends, because they're not, you know, a true 12th scale is going to probably be a Figma. A Figma figure is probably a true 12th scale. Mm-hmm. Whereas a Marvel Legend is a heroic 12th scale.
Right.
You know, and Mezcos are a little bulkier depending on which figures they are. So, you know, always people's like, well, why don't you modify it to, you know, so the door's open? You put people, it's like, because I don't want to cut this, like that Mustang, the John Wick Mustang. I've never found another one. I've scoured the earth for that. I've never found another one. If I ever found another one, I might cut it up and try to make the doors open.
Right.
But it's kind of a one-of-one thing at this point. You know, and I've got like Bratz toys, Bratz dolls. They made some cars they're a little big, but you know they work. They got a convertible. I have a limo, actually, that your youngest daughter enjoys playing with when she's over. I've got this Hummer that is like this. Playmates made these like Micro Machines kind of cars, and it's this green. It's a yellow H2 Hummer, but you press a button and it unfurls into this playset for these little Micro Machine cars. But it looks great sealed up. You just can't put any, you know, figures in. And of course, the Turtle vans, those Cowabunga Carl vans, everybody's has been painting for years and years. I've got a couple of them here I could paint up, and I may actually work on some vehicle stuff after I get done with this epic run of 100 mythic pieces.
Wow.
I finally cut it off. I was like, you know what? I got to stop. I don't want to make these forever. So
You're printing money though.
Literally, I'm as we are speaking. Actually, I did pick up something interesting recently. I don't think I discussed it on here. I got a baby monitor that hangs from my light above my X-Carve. So I am right now watching it do a 2-hour cut. Pieces.
Baby, you're watching your baby.
That's fine.
Hey, it works. It's the cheapest. I mean, there's probably cheaper ways to do it, but it was like I think $60. Fucking, you know, it was a pain in the ass to hook up. And it's funny because Kelly was at the store. I said, hey, go to the baby monitors at Walmart and just the cheapest one that doesn't look like a total piece of shit. She's like, well, there's this one for like $50 and it comes with a little screen, or this one's like $70 and you can use there's an app. I'm like, okay, fine, get the app one. So she gets the app one. I try to install it. I cannot get it to work. I go to download the app and it has like 1 star. It's
Really?
like, this app is trash. She figured out how to, I don't know what, she had to go in and like change a bunch of permissions and shit. But I just had some packages delivered. Whoop, whoop. Thanks, FedEx. But she got it to work. So, you know, it's nice to be able to sit here. And I don't sit in there and watch that thing work constantly. But I like to keep an eye on it. It's actually got a temperature reading. So, you know, I can tell if the temperature spikes. I probably have an issue with possibly like the vacuum, because I got a new vacuum a while back and it's a lot more powerful. But
Right.
the filter, you literally have to clean the filter every day because it clogs up, and I can tell because it starts to get hot and it smells like this sweet, smell, and I'll open the filter and it'll almost be caked full of foam dust. It's
Yikes.
crazy.
I mean, foam, it's like no joke. That shit that gets so dusty so fast. It's like so much of it.
It does. So I mean, the vacuum I got was it's a whatever brand they sell at Home Depot.
I don't think any vacuum is gonna last too long. It gets foam dust.
Right. I mean, well, this is the first one I had was actually an ash vacuum. I found it cheap somewhere and I ordered it. But it was, Joe, you've been over here when I was running it before. You remember when we used to be able to do Brofest.
I miss Brofest.
Me too. But it
I do too, man.
you still got that invite. It's good till the end of the year. But it had that real tinny sound. It was like high pitched almost. This one doesn't have that sound, but I've gotten to where I've got some noise canceling Bluetooth headphones, weird flex, that I've gotten to where I wear in there, because if I'm down here working all day and I go upstairs and sit down and watch TV with the family, it's like everybody's holding their ears and I can't hear it, and it's horrible. Oh no, it's absolutely horrible for me to do that. So try to save my hearing just a little bit. I had something kind of, it's funny and aggravating, and it's literally just the way of the world. So there's really three colors of paint involved in these things we're doing. We're using, it's black, gray, and a lighter gray, but it's a specific lighter gray by the great people at Apple Barrel Paint. It's called Granite Gray. Well, if anybody's gone to Walmart lately and looked in the plaid paint section where these paints live, they're decimated. There's nothing there. So we're out of this particular color, and we're trying to be as consistent as we can across all of these in case someone, but I do have a couple people who have ordered twice, so hopefully their stuff will kind of sort of match. But just, it's kind of hard to do. We're doing them in batches of 12. It's kind of hard to, color match everything, right? Probably should have just kept one out as a color master, and that was initially the plan, but here we are. So I put out kind of a, hey, I'm looking for this paint. It's not to be found. Let me back up a second. We looked online. It's on Amazon. These are 50-cent bottles of paint at Walmart. It's on Amazon for $10 a bottle, which is batshit crazy. So Kelly had found a place online that is some Spotify. Spotify does not have any paint.
Yeah, they stream music. That's what they mainly do.
Right. Not paint. The Shopify site that had this paint, and they were selling them in like packs of 4 or 5, and it was basically retail. And I said, shit, order like 20 bottles, and we'll just have it. So she orders it, and this is trash right here. She orders it, and as soon as you click, pay or whatever, it shoots you a message back and says, thank you for your purchase. We will not be shipping during these trying times. Oh, why is that not on the front of your website?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
So she contacts him and is like, hey, what's the deal? Why? Long story short, the company that makes the Apple Barrel paint, and I think a lot of the paint that you buy at Michael's and other places, and they make Mod Podge and a lot of other stuff, is plaid. If you look on the back of most craft paint, it's going to say plaid. Well, these people, and apparently their factory's in Georgia. Well, the people that we ordered from are in Georgia, and what they do is if you order from them, they just go pick it up at their will call window and ship it to you. Well, they told Kelly that they had been shut down since March because of COVID. That's why there's no paint anywhere.
Man.
So knowing that, I put out a post on my social media and then in some of the diorama groups about, hey, I'm looking for this particular paint color. If you have any and you could help me out, shoot me a message. You know how many lessons on color theory I got yesterday? You can just mix white and black together and make gray.
That is true, though. That is true.
But it is true, but the problem is,
Chris, did you forget? Did you forget that? Did you forget that black and white makes gray?
Well, if I did forget it, I definitely know now. But it's not as simple as gray paint. It's got some blue in it, maybe some green. It's a very I would say it's a complicated color.
I'm familiar. I use granite gray all the time, and I'm actually out myself.
Yeah, I thought I had heard you said you were out. That's why I didn't bark up your tree about it. But
yeah, granite gray and China blue, both from Apple Barrel, and I'm short on both.
Yeah, we're using the windows on these are we paint them brown, and then we do like a kind of like a bluish. It's a kind of baby blue, kind of China blue, with some off-white kind of smeared on it to give it that worn look.
Well, then I heard the China Blue might be going through a rebrand now, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, yeah.
Freedom Blue.
Freedom Blue.
So that's
great.
It may be in a couple. I'm in a bunch of diorama groups and custom groups, and one of them is called CDD. That's the name of the group. It's customs displays and dioramas. That's literally the name of the page. So I'll do my post in there, and I get just blasted by this guy. Oh, that's crap paint. You need to use Vallejo and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no. Yeah, but I need this particular color. Yeah, but that's crap paint. Blah 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 blah. He just running me down the road, and I finally was like, all right, man, thanks for the lesson. I appreciate it. Thanks for the help. Smart ass. And then I don't go in there swinging dicks or anything, but somebody else says, guys, just so you know, this is Crashbox, the guy who does all the Mezco dioramas. And the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. Yeah, that paint works great for dioramas. Like, what the fuck, dude? Why you shouldn't talk to me any different because you know who I am now. That's bullshit. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
You're somebody.
And I had another guy, I was like, apparently you have... And the misunderstanding in that particular group was people thought I was painting figures with 50-cent paint.
Right.
Which isn't ideal. It's not. Sure, you should probably use higher end paints for the minute details. I'm not going to use an $8 1-ounce bottle of paint to paint 12 by 12 dioramas. You've lost your fucking mind. Long story short, I have two people mailing me some paint, and shout out to Michael F. here locally. I don't think he listens or knows this show exists. I actually met him at NJCC. He lives 10 minutes from me. I made him some shipping containers for his G.I. Joe stuff a while back. He hit me up. He's like, I got 2 bottles. I said, dude, put it in your mailbox. I'll come and get it.
Nice.
And so there we go. So I was just like, come on. And it was like, oh, and everybody's like, well, they got it at Walmart. Fucking shit. I'm not asking you where to get it. I'm asking if you have some. Yeah. People don't read. And then it's like, message me if you have any. What do people do? They just comment pictures of their paint bottle. And then a lot of people, bless their hearts, like, hey, I don't have that color, but I have all these other grays. I'm like, I appreciate it. I appreciate you digging out your paint, but I have all those other grays, and none of them work. Like, there's a country gray, complete trash paint. I mean, it's like, I don't even know what color it's supposed to be. It separates. It's weird. The inconsistency, granted, we're talking about 50-cent bottles of paint.
Right.
But the inconsistency sometimes in that shit is bonkers. It's like one bottle is great, the other one, I don't know, it could be 20 years old or something. It's like you shake it, it won't merge, it won't shake up. So, yeah. So we've shipped out 50, actually, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 62, counting the pile I have on the floor right here to ship. So
nice.
Means we have 38 more to go. I'm running the machine right now, so we're doing about 24 a week. Hopefully that'll be done. I'm going to take a break. Although I did get some, we did get another job last week for a company. I'll leave it at that. Not the usual company, but another company.
You're cheating.
Not cheating, because it's completely, I'll tell you guys off here, completely out of left field. No one's going to see this coming, I promise.
You'll never see this coming.
You'll never see this coming.
It's those knockoff G.I. Joes, American Heroes or whatever. That's
That's what. Yeah, it's real. It's GIA. It's a real Canadian heroes. Yeah. So one more thing I'll tell you. I think I showed you guys a diorama that I built that I was going to try to use for some pictures that I still haven't posted, but Kelly is super into that. So we sat down here for like 2 or 3 hours the other morning and fucking with these pictures and setting stuff up, and it was cool to do that with her. And
nice.
And she'll hear this because she listens, but I enjoyed that.
Did you think about learning some photo editing?
She did edit. She edited some of them actually. So the ones
awesome.
I'm going to post. Yeah. So that was really cool. I was excited to to do that with her. So I've got it's not a great camera. It's a DSLR. I don't know. It's like one of those kinds you buy at Sam's Club that comes with a lens, and I think I wanted it in a raffle. But I've got a shit ton of different color lights and stage lights and all sorts of shit. And I don't know just barely enough about the camera. Ace showed me some shit when he was over, and I've watched tutorials and stuff, but it's something else to get my head around. But
right.
I think that's probably more important than learning some of this other stuff I try to learn, like the blending software for fusion and 3D printing stuff. Shout out to Paul R. Damn it, Realm of Enablers. So I talked last week about getting that hot wire cutter.
Yep.
Which I tell you, Bobby, it's $125. It would be well worth your investment, and it's just so much fucking fun. But there's a guy in the Netherlands, the website's called Shifting Lands, who makes all these different kits for him to make all this crazy. Like you could make, think about like a blimp, the shape of a blimp. You can make that out of foam using these crazy attachments and shit.
Wow. Send me a
so,
link.
Yeah, so I'll like I said, I bought I think mine's called a Hercules.
Hercules.
It's basically the same exactly same as the Proxon, except it's got a foot control, which is cool. So you can that wire doesn't have to sit there being hot the whole time. You don't have to mess with the knob.
Right.
Talk
to me.
I did talk to Josh Fisher about it, and he asked me if they had a left-footed version. So yeah. So that's
That's about
I'm trying to think about watching. Oh, I watched some stuff. I watched both. I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I've seen them both millions of times, but that the Johnny Depp one is so fucking dark. You don't realize it. He's so snarky, and I've stolen a line from that. Have you guys both seen that one?
I have. I had a hard time making it through that one. I'll be
okay.
Honest. The first one, of course, I could watch right now.
So Mike TV, and this one is basically like a computer guy who's hacked the system, but he talks really fast and in bursts. So it'd be like, I'm going to explain to you right now how I cut the foam up and put it into pieces and then glue it together. Kennedy does that. She'll come in a room and just like her brain just explodes. So Johnny Depp in that Willy Wonka in that movie, every time that kid talks, he's like, "Can you open your mouth a little wider? I can't understand what you're saying." So I've stolen that and I say that to Kennedy every time. Oh, I watched some other shit too, and I can't remember what I watched, but oh well, maybe I'll think of it later. Tag out.
Yosef.
So I watched that documentary with that yoga guy.
Oh, he's like the scam artist guy or whatever, but he wasn't really.
I know.
Right.
It's hard to say. He is definitely a liar and a scam artist, but like he also did do good yoga. I guess.
He knew his shit.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like I think I enjoy the things the documentary I've watched because it all goes back to cults, right? Tiger King and this, like. They're different things, but at the end of the day, they're fucking cults, and I think that's what like really fucking interests the fuck out of me. That's a fucking fun one. That was quite interesting because it's still kind of ongoing.
Yeah,
like he's still out there, and then like his brand is still out there,
and the brand is respected, but like a lot of people,
some people take it down, some people don't take it down.
Is that Burkham yoga or whatever?
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that like basically just stole the whole style, but call it something different because the name has like mixed feelings,
And also, like, how do you, really steal the style? It's like, I don't know. It's one of those things like we're talking about with dioramas and stuff. Like once you've discovered a technique and share it, it's just fucking out in the ether.
Right.
Like you can't trademark the bench press.
Right.
You can charge people to coach them to bench press better, but you can't. So
yeah, I get it.
So yeah, that was fun. That's good background noise. We watched the Super Mario movie.
The original, like the
only one, right?
Well,
with John.
No, I think you're right. I just couldn't remember there was like any cartoon movies that they did. I know they did a number of shows, I guess, but never.
Yeah. but like, because we were talking, me and Chris were talking, like, about video game movies, and we're like, everyone shits on the movie, but I remember enjoying it. I think it was okay, because everyone hates on the movie, and she was like, yeah, I think I enjoyed it too. So we watched it. It's fucking great, man. I
Fuck
had
no.
a lot of fun. It is fucking enjoyable, fucking entertaining ride. It has nothing to do with like the game. First of all, right? We all know that it has a lot of like Easter eggs and like homages, because
Right.
it's a fucking joke. And when the cup is called, the bomb is in there, and the swamp is one of the clubs. So like, it was fun. It was like a fun kids movie.
Right.
That's how I watched it. So
I hear you.
I think people just like to shit on things.
I
Like
don't know, man. When I was a kid, I saw it when I was a kid, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It was the same way I felt in 07 walking out of the Transformers movie.
I don't know if I've ever said this, but
the first Transformers movie when I first watched it.
the Transformers movie turned me off of Transformers. Like, I stopped collecting Transformers after that movie came out.
So that's how I felt coming.
Turned me back on the Transformers.
And it
That's
did,
when I
and
started
it did for a number of people. It did for a number of people, but I felt the same way as Chris, where walking out of 07. Actually, because it was BotCon in 08. Because I still hung on for a bit until BotCon 08, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. I misread this whole thing. But yeah, I just mean in the terms of like something is such a departure from what you recognize as its soul that it's just.
I guess it's just different people took it differently, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Like, because like I'm sure I'm not the only person out there who grew up with G1 and also liked the movie.
No, of course not. But you are the only person that likes the Mario Brothers movie. That's a fact. You're the only person. You're
Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was upset with just the way they looked in that movie, to the point where I don't know if I've ever even seen it.
Okay, watch it.
Yeah, watch
If
it.
you like fun romp, right? Just watch it and then tell me what you think about it next week. It's only like an hour and a half, man.
It's worth watching because you're either going to err on the side of Joe, which that means Joe can put two people in this Facebook group he's created, or you'll hate it and you'll always be able to hate it. Like the hate does pay off forever because you can, like, whenever it's brought up, you can always think about how much you hate it and find solace with people that also hate it around you.
But like, it's not good. It's fun. Like I said, like it's so bad that it's good. Maybe it's in that category, but I just had fun watching that shit. And like, John Leguizamo was always great, and the guy who played Mario was great. Like, I don't know.
Oh, Bob Hoskins.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins.
I don't like equate that movie to Mario.
That's a good
game at all. But
would those casting choices fly today?
What do you mean?
Like for two non-Italians playing two Italian roles.
I mean, are they? Well, I guess they are. They are. Well, they're like Brooklyn people, right? They're not necessarily Italian, right?
My man said Brooklyn people.
I can say that. I have Brooklyn friends.
No, I mean they're Italians. They're Italians.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, they ham the Italian thing up to in the movie, like the accents.
Yeah,
but it's like Brooklyn accent, but they were like eating pasta and like.
Of course, and in the game, it's me, the Mario. Like they just got here.
hey, Joe. I hate to interrupt you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But I did remember two things I watched. One was it was a I guess I'll call it a mini series. It apparently came on the Paramount Network 2 years ago. Never even knew it existed. Waco. It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah. I've not watched it yet. Is it culty? If it's culty, I'll watch it.
Well, obviously it's culty, dude.
No, depends on what you're looking at it from.
Well, I will tell you that they do a pretty good job of telling the story from both sides, and that whole situation was fucked up. I mean, I knew that it happened. I think it happened in '93, so I was like a junior in high school, but I didn't know what happened. I knew the event occurred. Man, that's some fucked up. It's fucked up shit. I mean, of course.
Like, it was avoidable. I feel like, right?
Well,
but he was like sleeping with little girls.
I'll give you the cliff notes of how it starts. Basically, are you guys familiar with the Ruby Ridge incident?
Of sorts. I watched a documentary on Waco. But
okay, so basically what happened at Ruby Ridge is there was this guy holed up with his family in the woods. It had a bunch of guns, and it made some threats. Long story short, they came in there and killed him. They killed his wife, his kid, and I think they might have just arrested him, but it was real fucked up. ATF had a bunch of heat. Clinton wanted to disband the ATF over it.
Yeah.
The ATF basically hired a press secretary. They found out about Koresh. They found out that he had some guns in there and had some supposed underage relations with girls, which is not their jurisdiction at all. And basically, they go in there and start shooting, and they had a camera crew there because they wanted to film it to get the press to get
On
the
their
funding
side.
back. Yeah, well, of course. I mean, it's based on two books. A book written by the guy who was the negotiator, and then one of the few people who survived the ending of that apocalypse, basically. It was yeah. The reason I thought about that is John Leguizamo is in it.
Oh.
He's in it, and that's what made me think of that. Also, the Chicago Bulls documentary is so fucking good. I mean, I know you guys probably that was my life in the 90s.
No,
I've
I've heard good stories. I mean, I've heard good things about it.
Oh man, and like Michael Jordan is a
Legend.
he had said that people are probably not going to like me by the time they finish watching this.
Right.
In this last episode that I ended up getting one behind because it was wrestling or Bulls. I knew wrestling was live. I watched the Bulls, so I'm a half an episode behind. I'll probably finish this afternoon. But the way he explains that the reason he's like, I'm not a nice guy. I can't be a nice guy in the position I am. If I'm a nice guy, we don't win. I'm gonna drag. If you're not willing to work as hard as I am, I'm either gonna drag your ass with me until you're as good as I am, or I'm gonna leave you behind. And at the end of that, I mean, that's not a verbatim quote, but he says something along those lines. And, dude, he starts to tear up. He's like, all right, we got to take a break. It's like, that's how, I mean, sometimes I think, I'm not by no means comparing myself to Michael Jordan, but from a passion standpoint, and Bobby, you're this way too. If people aren't, like, on your level or not willing to give as much as you feel like you're giving in any situation, the people that really succeed in life are the people who can make people better while making themselves successful.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan is one of those people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no,
all right.
I get that.
I'm off my soapbox, Joe. I'm gonna let you finish.
Where was I?
Colts.
Oh, it's Colts. Yeah, I enjoy Colts. I'm not being one, but
I'm on my fourth.
I just can't find a cult that's the right fit for me.
Yeah, you're fluid when it comes to Colts.
Well, I did form a fluid cult, but that was something different.
Let's see. Okay, so, there was something I wanted to talk about last week, but since we're on it now, since we're talking about Transformers and Mario, like, what quote unquote hasn't been ruined in some way or another for people from our age, from our childhood? Because I was looking at it, it's like Predator, it's got fucked up recently. Aliens is fucked up recently. Terminator is fucked up recently. Transformers is fucked up recently. It's like there's nothing left. G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
even.
G.I. Joe's fucking. Oh, Mask, man. They haven't fucked Mask up yet.
Well, if you ignore that comic book world they tried to create.
Oh, yeah, they tried to fuck it up.
Well, I mean, mainstream culture-wise, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, that just means they haven't found a script they like yet, Bobby. I think
true.
The beautiful thing about all of that is if I want to watch Transformers, I have a pretty decent cartoon movie from 1986 I can pop in.
Yeah.
That's my point of view, too. I don't think anything is fucking ruined.
Right,
It's
I feel
not.
the same way. I feel the same way.
It's like, I mean, I'll be honest with you. On Mondays, we go through all the toy news on Enter the Realm. And the Transformers segment is getting more and more where it's, where it was at least, stuff from the movies. And none of us really care about that. We didn't grow up with that. And it's, but
speaking of,
you can listen to the
everything is somebody's G1. And Bobby, I steal this from you all the time. If you're happy, you win.
Yeah.
I think it was Star Wars. Like one of the channels I watched a lot of Star Wars. The guy, like, the prequels are his thing. Like,
right. Well, Andy, who helps me with the Force Friday stuff, like the Clone Wars is his thing. Like that's what he grew up with. Like the prequels were pretty much done, and Clone Wars was hitting. Like that's his.
Oh, I finished Clone Wars too, but
Joe, did you do it?
I haven't started. Last night it was okay. We're gonna start Clone Wars. We're gonna start this Gundam series. We started the Gundam series.
We're never
guys,
gonna be able to.
keep on. I'll be right back.
We're never gonna be able to talk about this show.
It's on the list. It was one of two choices. So when we're done with this Gundam,
How many episodes is this?
The Gundam, we're on 10 out of 25 already. Like 10 episodes in one day. So, well, definitely by next show.
Man.
Oh man, like I heard you talking about like the Sonicons. Like I don't remember which video you were talking about, but like you say, I'm only buying this because I love the Sonicon. So like even though it's the G2 repaint or whatever.
Oh, it's the G1 the toy versions.
Yeah. Because I used to feel that way. Have you ever trapped into feeling that you have to buy something in order to prove to yourself that you're a fan of that thing, even though you don't, in your heart of hearts, you don't actually want it?
Yeah. Hot Toys Boba Fett.
You want these two fucking Sonicons, man? Honest.
No. The Stunticons I actually surprisingly enjoyed more than I thought I would. But Hot Toys Boba Fett. Hot Toys Boba Fett is my answer to that.
Oh, you don't want it. You didn't want it. If you could go back again, you wouldn't get it.
I wouldn't get it. Yep.
You only got it to prove to somebody or to yourself that I'm a fan of this person. I have to get it.
Yeah, and I think it was also during like, I think it was also like during heated debates with Adam about Star Wars, and he'd be like, "You have to get Boba Fett. What kind of Star Wars fan are you?" And I think that settled in my psyche somewhere where I was like, "I'll fucking show you what kind of fan I am. I'll fucking get it." And I knew I didn't fucking want it. And it's not because I don't like Boba Fett. I like Boba Fett, but it's like
not enough to get that.
He's not a character that matters. Like he's not like
you.
Yeah. Well, yes, to me, but also to the lore of Star Wars.
Well, he's going to be in The Mandalorian season 2, right?
Right, and at that point, he might matter. And at that point, I might be like, "Phew! Thank God I got this one." Do you know what I mean?
And it's a different suit.
But it could be retro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be one of those things where I retro appreciate it. But like, as of right now, all he is the illegitimate son of somebody that I care much more about, and he gets whacked into the fucking Sarlacc pit. You know what I mean? And it's like he looks he looks fucking cool, and I love his old voice. I don't like the special edition voice, but like I knew that fucking character didn't matter to me, and it's the same reason why we were talking about like these Clone Wars trooper figures. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but it settles. It's not cartoon. It is fucking movie style, and it comes with a guy's head, which I would think you would want his head, so to speak. His face.
So right, correct. You are right. You are right. You are right on all those accounts. But the reason why if it was just a clone, I wouldn't skip a beat in passing it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But because it's Rex and Rex matters to me, now that one's pulling on my heartstrings. Even Cody, right? Like, not you, Cody. Relax now. But like even Cody, who I think is cool and everything, he doesn't. Even though has a name and they'll give him a head or whatever, so to speak. I don't need that character doesn't matter enough to me to be tempted by it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not significant.
Right,
enough.
But my problem is that they do Rex and then they do fucking Fives and they do fucking Echo and they then I'm
team.
Right, then I'm like, fuck, But like so I'm with you. But I'll tell you on those Stunticons, I can't tell you how. I wish I didn't get the cartoon versions of the X-Transbots and I just got the toy versions. Because I have the cartoon versions of the fans' toys. Do you know what I mean? And I'm perfectly content with those. And the DX9 kind of feel a little redundant to me now,
Yeah.
But
what about your initial mindset? Like when you first bought them, were you like, "Fuck, I have to get this because of Stunticons," or were you actually interested in the
So I'll be completely transparent. I bought the first one, which was the breakdown at TFCon. DC or Reston last year because I just didn't want to walk away with empty-handed.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, I kind of want to check this out. And then I got that and I was like, man, I was like, this feels really good to me and I can't tell you why. And then I picked up the other two and I feel the same way. Like I feel really good about those guys.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But I do know what you mean. And I have certainly done that before. And I'll be honest with you, I had the inkling or like the pulling on my heartstrings to get the G2 versions. But that felt more like me forcing a responsibility on myself than actually wanting them.
Yeah. It's like a rule to yourself. It's like, well, I it's part of like kind of your net. If you love something so much and you claim it, and everybody knows you as the guy who loves this certain thing, I feel like I'm obligated to get certain things.
Right.
I'm the guy who likes this, so I have to get it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like, so that I was noticing in my heart like the same feelings that I had prior to buying that Boba Fett, and. You know, when I got the Boba Fett, I was like, look, there's nothing wrong with the Boba Fett figure. I want to stress that. It's not like I think it's a trash figure. It's a fucking fantastic figure. But it just doesn't, that figure doesn't hold any meaning to me. You know, like, that's how I feel about it. And since I had that instinct then, and I have it now regarding the G2 versions, I'm just going to hold fast.
Yeah, you learned. You learned from
Yeah.
Mistake.
Eventually. You know?
You do say I need this a lot.
Yeah, and it's surprising how like that hyper real Hasbro Vader, right?
Right.
You know, I was like, man, like that was something where I was like, man, I feel obligated just to like try it because it's something new, and you know. But then I got it, and I fucking love that thing. You know, like I fucking love it. So like every now and then it pays off. You know, the opposite way.
It also depends how much it costs. You know, like a $200 thing.
Right.
You know,
right.
A fucking $20 thing is not the same kind of.
Dude, speaking of which, I don't mean to derail you, but like I just recently, Tyler the Collector showed me this comparison image of Master Replica's Boba Fett helmet and Star Wars Black Series Boba Fett helmet, like the 1/1 scale.
Yeah.
So the Black Series one is $120, and the Master Replicas one is $600, and I can tell which one is which, right?
Okay.
But
right.
But not easily.
Well, is it what is it? $500 difference? Much?
Hell no.
Exactly. Like it's hard. It's hard. Like it's just like with movies. I was talking about, you know, with Chris, we're talking about watching movies. Like it's hard to say that I don't hate a movie, but I don't like it. I don't think
guys.
What'd you say?
Said I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Welcome.
Glad I have that monitor on the thing. That's something fucked up. I had to go fix it.
Oh, nice.
Or I burned the house
Already
down.
paying off.
Yeah.
Chris never have those feelings we're talking about because he's so fluid. If he doesn't,
I'm sorry. Give me the nickel tour here.
Nickelback.
Yeah, we were just talking about like ever feeling obligated to buy something because you love something. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love
a fan, you're a self-proclaimed fan of certain character, or you know.
Right.
Oh, like Deadpool?
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Or the Stunicons, you know. So, like, do you feel obligated sometimes to buy something that you may not even necessarily want just because it's a thing for you?
I've done that before just because it's like, I mean, I think probably when I stopped deciding I didn't want to buy Transformers anymore, it's like, oh, I just feel obligated to buy this because I'm a fan of the franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
But guess what? Isn't that what Jisk is right now?
Probably. He's always looking
for a while.
He's always looking for a way out. So
I couldn't finish Jaws for Dummies this week. I was like, oh, these old motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, so like it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because it's kind of in the orbit of what we've been talking about a little bit,
exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So like, here's what I find interesting about that episode. We sat down to have a conversation about why companies have moved into the movie masterpiece game so heavily, right?
Right.
And all we ended up doing, well, not all, but 50% of the conversation is us talking about the movies.
And not like, and not caring about the shit.
Well, yeah, but now what's interesting to me is that the same thing is going on in the comments. Like, I'm reading the comments, and like, they're not talking about the figures either. The whole comment section has moved into a discussion about the movies. And it's just, that's what's fascinating to me about all of it. Like, I have some feelings about all this shit, right? Like, some of this stuff, like, just because they've been back to back. Like, I put up the the statue video,
Yep.
which is something I've been meaning to do for years, and I just haven't had the time. But I feel like I just got my first statue, so like Transformers wise, so like maybe now would be a good time to go through the history, and like just like people telling me what I should do, and I just would be like, look, dude, like, and it's the same thing with the movie masterpiece stuff. Like, the thing is like I could easily talk about like I could do my top 5 Fans Toys figures this week, and then next week do my second top 5 Fans Toys figures, and then next week do my third top 5 Fans Toys figures, and people would still get excited. But I don't want to talk about the same shit all the time.
I don't want to hear anything else about Fans Toys.
Yeah, I want to talk about shit that's going on in like that either we haven't covered or that's going on. And one of the things that's going on is a large majority of third-party companies have turned to the Bayverse. One of the things that I've never talked about is the history of Transformer statues, because people act like it's fucking new, and it's been around forever. Well, not forever.
I had a bunch of General Giant statues
but for 20
years ago.
But for 20 years, for 20 years, Transformer statues have been around. Like...
Yeah. I watched the video. I was surprised at some of those. And I was also like, why are there so many half-body fucking statues? I don't understand.
yeah.
I mean, Bobby, Fans Toys is your Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Explain.
I was waiting on somebody to ask me. So when I was in college, they would occasionally bring music acts. This was at the college in Alabama. So literally, it was like 12th grade for most. It was like 12th grade for most people. And they would bring Toad the Wet Sprocket. So a guy I worked with, we went to the same college, said, "Are you going to this concert?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Why the hell are you going to go see Toad the Wet Sprocket?" Because if I don't go see Toad the Wet Sprocket, they'll never bring anybody better. So just saying that to say Fans Toys is what you have to do to keep people, keep those views ticking on, to get those pennies adding up.
Well, the thing is, though, so Fans Toys is the only real player left in G1 Masterpiece Toys, in my opinion. Like, there are other people doing them, but Fans Toys is the only. Fans Toys is standing on the mountain with a flag planted in it, and then there's a few twitching corpses laying down the mountain. Is how I kind of view it, right? And
I agree from what I know about it.
And any time Fans Toys has something significant to offer, whether it be a price increase on something that seems substantial or a list of new releases, I'm gonna cover it because it's part of the culture, right? It's part of the collecting world in this pocket. It has to be discussed, but I'm not just gonna talk about them for the sake of talking about them. Do you know what I mean? To me, that's like, I agree with you, and I know that you're being like, I know that there's like a tongue-in-cheek element to what you're saying, and I agree with you that like you gotta keep them in the kind of conversation because they are the backbone of the G1 conversation right now. But I'm not going to, as much as people talk shit about what I do, what I don't do is just cater for the sake of views. You know what I mean? Where I'd be like, because otherwise I would do top 5 Fans Toys figures, and then next week I would do bottom 5 Fans Toys figures, and then the next week I would do top 5 Fans Toys paint jobs. Like, it's like, it's so fucking easy, but it's so like least common denominator fucking thinking involved in it. Where like I'd rather do something that like either challenges me or challenges the viewership or has, I don't know, the quality of the content matters in terms of what is actually being said and being talked about. And like, so that shit irritates me. People are like, well, here's the one I don't like. Yeah, well then go fucking make a top 5 Fans Toys video. You be that, like, I don't know. It's just,
maybe I should make some Fans Toys videos,
dude. Hey, man, easy money.
Fans Toys at Dioramas. Get them in the pocket.
Oh, dude. But Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off and get off on a.
No, that's what we do here.
Yeah.
And because I didn't feel like fucking downloading Lord of the Rings Extended Edition when I have to work down. It has a fucking DVD. So like I was like, what is this? So I walked over to get the Lord of the Rings series extended cut because I want to see extra 86 hours of walking.
Even the fucking
And
trees.
I got these fucking DVD books from him, and I open it, and there's goddamn 4 fucking discs in there. I'm like, what is this bullshit? And then so like it's fine, and then we started watching, and then in the middle of the fucking movie, it stops and say to continue the story, put in disc 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
So
This shit.
I'm with you, Joe. But here's the problem. What is the other option?
You use your friend's server who has the 118-hour cuts uploaded, like I do.
In the commentaries?
It would have taken me a little more time.
Wait,
but,
in the
and the comment, because I'll tell you what, after I watch a 4-hour, is there a commentary track on The Irishman so I can drag myself through that again and listen to people talk over the movie?
I hope so.
Because if I want to hear people talk over the movie, I'll just go upstairs and try to fucking watch a movie.
But see, like I love that shit though. Like I like all the little behind the scenes and background information and what was going through what and little hidden messages and shit. Like I love that.
Actually, you know what? I started watching. Accidentally stumbled on the John Wick movie commentary, and I was like, you know what? I should probably watch these.
Yeah, you should.
Because it's something I'm interested in.
Exactly.
Bobby,
What?
you can download those.
What?
Like when you download, you don't just download a movie. You download like the fucking
Download it onto what, Joe?
my computer. What do you mean?
Well, I
That's
can't.
where I watch movies.
Well, my computer. So we all go into the office?
What? Do you know how to cast stuff?
No.
You have a smart TV, right?
Well, let me go into this a bit. So first of all, I wanted to watch John Wick. I wanted to watch John Wick because I was like, I recommended The Irishman to Chris, and he fucking he was kind of bored by it, and but he watched it. He watched it on my recommendation. So I owe this dude to watch John Wick. Couldn't fucking find it anywhere. But if I had the DVD, I could have watched it. And then here's another thing. So to make matters worse, I was like, well, fuck, what other movie are we going to watch? We went through all of it, couldn't find a fucking thing. So I was like, Lars just said, well, what's a movie you want to see? And I was like, well, I want to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Not fucking available anywhere except for Stars. So I had to sign up for a free fucking week of Stars in order to watch something. Like, it's this fucking whack-a-mole shit of having to watch a film where, like, yes, if I bought it, yes, it's an inconvenience that I got to pick up the disc and take it out and put it in the fucking player. But you know what? It's the least inconvenience in that whole fucking thing, because what ends up being the biggest inconvenience is that the fucking technology doesn't work. So my Blu-ray player won't work properly. The smart fucking TV won't work properly unless it's hooked to an Apple TV, which is the only fucking thing that works properly in my house in regards to digital television. And that's a fact.
I think as a your individual miles may vary thing. I think as a user,
well, it may be, but if it
you're
is,
not the only one. I'm not saying you're the only one. I'm sure there's tons of people out there who are not savvy with
if it is, Lars in the same boat, Jane is in the same boat, like.
Yeah, because I'm like I said, I'm a single data point, but there's not much of any like. How do you think I watched the Mara movie? You can't find it anywhere. Like if you tried, you can't find it anywhere. You have to buy the disc, but I can watch it. So I'm sure it's an individual thing, but like I have no problem fucking finding and watching anything. Basically.
I would much rather own something and it like yes, getting up and putting the disc in is an inconvenience, but and this isn't a comment on your situation, but me personally, I am not lazy enough where that's a fucking problem for me. I'm happy to put the disc in. I'm more irritated by the technology not working properly. But I'd much rather do that than have to sit there and download something and take up space on my hard drive that's already a fucking high commodity and then cast it to something. Like, it's like, to me, that's 3 more steps than just fucking spending the $20 and getting my ass up and putting the fucking disc in.
No, because whatever disc I don't have right now, I don't have to go anywhere to buy it. I can just watch it right now.
No, you got to download it, then you got to fucking cast it, then you got to make sure that that's receiving it properly, and then you can watch it. It's still a matter of steps. It's just what steps are convenient for you.
I mean, I don't have to download it. I can stream it too. It depends on what movie. So certain movies you have to download, some, but most things you can stream. Like,
I feel like people are, so where do I stream John Wick?
I'll send you a link afterwards.
Okay.
Actually, Bobby, it'll be at your house in 2 days. Don't worry.
Don't. Yeah.
It's too late. It's already on the way.
I don't own like any fucking disc of anything, but I've watched everything I've wanted to watch. But like I said, I think I love this as an individual. I don't know, like our listeners, what percentage of our listeners is savvy with stuff, but like, I have other other people I talk to, right? Like you guys are like my like fucking real friends and stuff. But I talk to other people online, and
sure.
Most people are in the same boat as me that I talk to online. Like where
and most people I talk to are always fucking like man, the more times they put smart on the box, the dumber the fucking equipment is.
I think it's operator error, or like you just
I don't know. You've come here. You've been here before and tried to get my shit to work and it doesn't work.
When?
For using Disney Plus, we could only get it to work on the Apple TV. Samsung, and then you know what? No,
Because I watched Disney Plus on my PS4 just fine off of your account.
On Disney, on PS4, but not on the Samsung, not on the smart TV. You need another fucking smart device in order to be smart. You need two smart motherfuckers to do one dumb fucking job that a DVD player can do. That's my point. I had the fucking thing, the Samsung. I tried to get it to download Disney Plus. It wouldn't work. It kept failing. It kept crashing. It turned the TV off. It turned it back on. And then I turn it on and I go into the internet and I type in, why isn't Disney Plus working on Samsung devices? They say, Disney Plus isn't really working well with most Samsung devices. If you have an Apple TV, try that, please.
Yeah, maybe it's just our setup, because I just set
it's not our setup. That's Disney.
I'm saying
that's Disney Plus. Setup. That's Disney Plus making a statement.
No, I'm talking about at home. Like when I moved in here, right? I moved all our electronics and I set everything up, and everything's set up so that it's very easy for me to use. All I have is I don't even have a smart TV, by the way. I have a regular ass dumb high def TV, a laptop, and a PS4, and that's all I need for anything.
But like, okay.
It's a setup issue. Like I know what I'm setting up, so like I said, I think it's just a savvy thing. Just like whether you know what to do or you don't, or just by experience.
But I feel like whatever it takes to set up and cast and download and stream, and then you got to rely on the internet. You got to rely on not electricity, obviously, but you got to rely on the internet. You got to rely on the internet service, right? You got to rely on all those things communicating back and forth. If I put the fucking disc in and I push the fucking disc in, it fucking works 100% of the time.
Yeah, but you have to go buy the disc.
Oh no, you don't. You just bitch about it enough where your friend buys his favorite movie and has it fucking mailed to your house, where it'll be there in 2 days. So when you get done shitting, but when you get done shitting on it, you can give me the disc. You can give it back
I definitely would. I consider it a loaner.
So you have three options. You have DVD, Blu-ray, and
4K?
digital download.
So
digital download. You have 3 ways you can shit on John Wick. I'm excited for this.
But I want to watch it, and I want to watch them all. Like
did you know?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say. So I didn't know this existed till this, current situation. Mason has said to me a couple times that him and his girlfriend had watched this show together or this movie together. I'm like, how are you doing that? There's some. I guess Netflix has some part of their app where it's like, if we want to watch something at the same time, we use this app. And there's other things where, like, if we wanted to watch John Wick all together, there's ways to do that. I didn't realize that.
Before, to do that on like as part of our like thing, like for listeners, like if we all want to do a watch together once.
Yeah, we'll do a watch party for
the end of the fucking technology.
Yeah, I bet you it doesn't work.
It works for everybody else, Bobby. Like
it didn't work for most people, Joe. It didn't work for most people where Disney had to put out a statement. It didn't work.
Mason, what's the name of that thing you use to watch movies with multiple people?
Netflix Party.
Netflix Party, and what's the other one?
Metastream.
Metastream. Okay, so it's Netflix Party and Metastream. Thank you, Mason.
Actually,
so
bless up.
I had this talk with Krista again. We talk a lot. We're home a lot together.
Sure.
But like, I feel like I'm stuck in between generations because like Krista and I have both decided, like, even though age-wise I'm in the same generation as you, Bobby, like our mental states are not in the same generation. I am of like Krista's generation, but my age is 10 years fucking older. So I'm in a weird fucking spot.
Well, I think it's relative, right? So I think like with technology, yes, absolutely.
They're not related. They're just both Asian.
But with music, I would say that you're in the older place and I'm in a younger place.
Yes, yeah, but I guess what I'm talking about, like lifestyle wise versus like
probably kids.
pop culture.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, dude. I don't know. I mean, like, I mean, I can't talk about some of this stuff on air, but like, I mean, there's times where somebody from the outside looking in would definitely think I was acting like a child in my professional life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's just like where you wear your. I think that's something about getting older too. It's like what hat do you put on for what job, right? So like, when I do this, I put on this hat, and then I take that hat off, and I put on a different hat, and depending on the circumstances, because like, I'm very much in touch with the the youthful music, like and
yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
much more. I have no idea of music in the last 15 years, probably.
Right, but like, I'd have no interest in like buying a third streaming device. Like, where I'd rather just have the It sounded like Chris sounds like the montage scene before somebody's getting ready to go to war.
What are you talking about?
It's like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm opening the box.
But for on the other side of things, it's like, I just would rather. I want control. With certain shit. It's like I stream music, but it's fucking super reliable. But I still
I said, because there's so many options, right, for technology right now. Like if you didn't pick correctly for yourself, like there's not better or worse, I guess, but like if you didn't pick properly for what you need, like for people who pick Apple, I understand when they have Apple everything in the house and it works together and like it works for them and they like life easy that way. I understand why people like Apple, but like you have, like I said, I have two pieces of technology at home for everything I need, and that's just a fucking laptop and a PS4. So like, it's one of those a brand confusion thing, right? Like fucking old people who don't know what to get, and so they end up getting a flip phone because like it's this what they know.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, that works when it. I mean that, but at the same time, when Disney Plus says your smart TV,
because it's the wrong fucking thing.
What?
Because you happen to have the thing that they don't support, and I use.
Well, no, they do support it. They do support it. It's just that Samsung is not able to handle it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's an individual thing because you happen to have a Samsung, and I happen to use my PS4, which I've never had a problem with. You know what I mean? Like, I would have never ran into the problem that you ran into.
Right, but I don't have it. But I don't have my PS. Right, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, but it's like, so how many fucking things do I got to buy for each fucking thing that may or may not work when the DVD works 100% of the time? That's my saying. Like, okay, so your system works 100% of the time, but because you happen to buy the right system. But there's no rule book as to what system to buy. There's plenty of people out there that have Samsung TVs that work just fine. There's plenty of people out there that have just Apple TV that works just fine, right? But sometimes it doesn't. But you know what works for everybody? You know what works for everybody? It'll work for you. It'll work for me. It'll work for the Samsung guy. It'll work for the Apple TV guy. It'll work for everybody. Is the disc in the fucking player? That'll work. That'll work. Like that's the thing is like I'm all
unless your lens is dirty.
Yeah, that's true. I'm all about moving forward with the technology, but I feel like we're becoming more and more dependent on less reliable technology.
I mean, I don't know what to say because like it's hard to discuss because we come from two different places. Like you're saying, what has been completely unreliable for you has been completely reliable for me. Like I'm not saying you haven't had issues. I'm just saying.
Well, my PS4 is not reliable. My PS4
only
not...
because you didn't remember the password. Remember? I tried to set up.
No, for sure. But you know what is it? Like? So I can only have so many games on there because the discs that I buy have to download to the machine. Do you know what I'm saying? Like. It's like it's a fuck the consumer mind state with this shit. I bought a fucking $400 system and I can only have 6 games saved on there. My PS1, no problem, saving all my games.
Yeah, but like, how big is your PS4? You know how big PS4 games are? Like that, you can't put all that shit on the disc. You just can't.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's hundreds of gigs for one game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But what I do know is that what I do know is that system is unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable to spend $400 on something and then $60 on something, and you can only store like 4 or 5 fucking games. Like that's in my opinion,
but it's still yours though. Like you didn't lose those games. You just have to fucking re-download it some other time when you want to decide you want to play again.
Yeah, but then I got to start over.
I mean, how long does that take?
I mean, like, does it matter? I paid for it. I want to start where I fucking started.
No, but you paid for it. It's yours. It's not like you lost it.
No, I did. I lost my progress.
You don't have You don't have to delete your progress. Just
progress is a slow process, and that ain't got
nothing but time.
Your save data is a very small file. You don't have to delete your save data to free up space. You just free up the. Never mind. See, we're talking about 2 different languages here.
I know that I've had to remove games off my PS4 in order to put another game on, which I think is horseshit. And even if a game has no saved progress, do you know what I'm saying? I have certain games on my PS4 that have no saved progress, and I have to delete them to put in another game. Like I'm just like,
because that's actually a technological. You're talking about technological roadblock because there's no better way unless you want to fucking buy a bigger hard drive.
Joe, it's very convenient. It's a very convenient thing. You just keep,
no, it's not because you have the disc. You just can't fucking play the whole fucking thing on one disc.
Yeah.
So we're not even talking about the same thing there. Like you have to have the disc and also extra data because it's too big.
Yeah.
So until they invent a bigger fucking disc or like those. Do you have an LCD? Remember that?
I'm going to stream my video games from my PS4 onto my Switch, download them to my iPhone, and then cast them to the television, and then plug them into my.
That's the next thing, by the way.
And then I'm going to plug them into my smart toilet, and then I'm going to take a shit on them. Is what I'm going to do.
Dude, no, seriously though, streaming platforms like consoles are the next new thing is going to be.
Yeah, I'm
like. Where all the calculating is going to be done in the cloud, so like you're not limited by your hardware.
God, all I think about with the cloud is someone's going to find my dick pics.
Well, there's only one way to prevent that.
Have you downloaded dick pics? I mean, uploaded it?
No. I don't.
Are you
so.
sure?
No, I'm not sure either.
Even when you were drunk.
Yeah, I don't think I take drunk dick pics.
That's when people usually take the dick pics. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't think I do. Usually, I don't think I do. I don't know. I haven't taken a dick pic in a long time. But that's my PSA. Don't take dick pics. Let me. Do you have anything else for your Nerd Week, Joe? At an hour?
No, that's it.
Okay. I just want to say I don't have much to offer. I did watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on Stars.
That's with Bruce Lee, right?
Yes. That scene is fucking phenomenal. By the way.
I haven't seen it, but that guy who plays Bruce Lee also played Ryu in for a really good adaptation of Street Fighter.
Oh, really? He kills that Bruce Lee role. He kills it.
He kills the Ryu role too.
Does he? Good for him. Yeah, like that shit. Like he was right on there, and like he talks about like some, because this is another one of Quentin Tarantino's kind of reimagining history things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Didn't Bruce Lee's daughter get mad about this shit?
Huh?
Didn't Bruce Lee's daughter was mad about the portrayal of Bruce Lee?
Probably. But like Bruce Lee says some things in that. So the sequence with Bruce Lee talking, he does this monologue about boxers, right? Like pugilists.
Pugilists.
Just so you don't think I'm talking about the underwear. And
I got it.
And like he does this whole monologue about it, and it is without a doubt the best moment of that film, in my opinion. Like it's the scene that feels most like Tarantino. But
it's just one scene with the Bruce Lee. Like, what is the story? Like, just give me a fucking just synopsis.
It's a reimagining of the Manson Sharon Tate murders.
Okay.
And there's a scene where one of the characters has a conversation with Bruce Lee. Or actually, Bruce Lee's just having a conversation with himself and people are listening. But this guy engages in that conversation at a certain point. But that's neither here nor there. But it's about Bruce Lee's viewership and kind of interpretation of the boxing world and how much respect he has for it. And it's fucking amazing. And I'm now it's like my mission to find out if there's any validity to his thoughts on that. But he goes into this thing about how like he views Cassius Clay as a warrior, and perhaps the only warrior that's a real celebrity. And he goes into this whole thing about how he wishes that what he did had more of the warrior element and less of the performance element. And it's fucking interesting. Like, if nothing else, it's beautifully written, but I'm not sure that it has fucking any historic, you know what I mean?
This is not a historic piece. This is a drama.
No, it's but it's kind of historic. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
like fiction based on real history.
Correct. It's historic in the same way that Inglourious Bastards was historic. Did you ever see that?
No,
right,
I know of it. Was Brad Pitt?
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. But at the very end of it, Brad Pitt and like his commandos lock Hitler in a theater and burn him up to a crisp. Like, you know, like, but that's not how that went, right? We all know that's not how that went. And it's historic in that sense too, where it's like, you know, the World War II is real and some of the shit that was going on in that movie is real, but you know, how it plays out and how it ends is obviously different. But it was interesting. I'm happy to have seen it. It was definitely worth the watch. But I'm not sure it definitely wouldn't be in my top 3 Tarantino movies, and I'm not sure it would be in the top 5 either. You know, in spite of all of the kind of critical acclaim it received.
So are you going to do a video about your top 5 Tarantino films, and then do one for like 6 through 10, and then I don't know how many movies I think he's got like 12 or 13, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I can even remember them all now.
Speaking of Tarantino, total sidebar.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, and I don't know the name of the movie, if you just put in Tarantino Top Gun, have you ever seen this? It's some movie, it's not his movie, but it's a party scene, and he's telling this story about how all the homosexual undertones in Top Gun with the topless.
Oh, yes. I have seen
Oh, my
that.
God. It's so good.
Yeah.
The topless volleyball and the way they're so close to each other when they're talking and clenched jaws.
Yes, I have seen.
And she has to dress like a man for him to find her attractive. And
That's from something, too. Like, it's like...
About how Tom Cruise is gay?
No. It's like it's broader than that, and it's not as specific. But it is great though. I will say this. I just want to say my issue with that movie, the Hollywood movie, is that the movie is about. Okay, so imagine The Dark Knight, right? The Dark Knight film, and that let's say the Dark Knight film was about Commissioner Gordon, right? But at 1 hour and 40 minutes of a 3-hour movie, Heath Ledger's Joker shows up and is at the forefront of it for the last back of the film. Who are you going to walk away remembering from that film?
Yeah.
probably the Joker.
That's my issue with this movie, is that I think it lacks focus. Because something once the Manson shit kicks into high gear, you forget about the main character that you're supposed to be following. You know, especially if you know anything about the kind of history of that, like, and you know Sharon Tate's in it and whatever, like, your mind shifts from who you're supposed to be thinking about to the other part of it, and it doesn't seem cohesive, I guess is the best word. But yeah, that's about it. You know, there's some other stuff. There's some really big stuff that's been going on in my life recently, but that's more of a wine and cheese conversation, the kind of stuff that we talked about at the beginning of the show.
I wanted to say, Lord of the Rings holds up really well. That's what it started. Yeah. Me watching Lord of the Rings, and like I'm surprised it's a 20-fucking-year-old movie.
Yeah.
The CG and stuff holds up really well too.
No, I agree. We just watched them recently with Jana. You know, Adam had made a statement to me one time that the Two Towers is better abridged than the extended, and I think he might be right.
It's hard for me, like, because the extended, like, it's not really that much more extended per movie. It's like fucking 15-20 minutes or some shit like that. So like, I can't even tell anymore. Like, what isn't extended? Like, what was supposed to be in it and what wasn't in it?
The first one has a lot of shit in it. Like, because the first one has a lot of, like, Smeagol, like, not a lot of Smeagol, but it has, like, more Smeagol into it because they didn't have to hide it. You know what I mean? For the second one.
Right.
And then the third one has a ton. Like, the third one has the death of Count Dooku. It has the whole...
Yeah, that's right.
The whole Mouth of Sauron thing, like that creature that was outside.
Yeah, I
like,
love that guy.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome, right? But like that, none of that was in the regular. So like the first and the third, I think, do benefit from the extended, but the second one, not so much. The second one is kind of perfect in a way. The theatrical release. We do have a couple notes, not much, and then a couple questions. So, unfortunately, we lost 2 more legends over the past week. We lost Little Richard, and we lost Jerry Stiller, Seinfeld.
What about Sixth Friggin' Roy? We lost him too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're going to hear about it.
So yeah. So rest in peace. Thanks for your offerings.
One time for the city.
Yeah. And then the Toys That Made Us people are doing a new show called a toy store near you. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I have. Is it out?
No, they just had the.
They
have a trailer.
They're trying to save the independent toy stores. What they're trying to do.
Right. It says the first trailer has arrived, showing a revealing look at how independent toy stores and collectible retailers in America and other countries around the world are dealing with the effects of the coronavirus and the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic on their business. Toy Store Near You will have a cross-platform debut on May 29th via Amazon Prime, YouTube, and other content destinations.
Problem with that shit is like everybody needs help. Like,
right,
how do we say?
Right, for sure. All right, and then we have a couple of bits of Star Wars news that are pretty interesting. So I want to talk about this one a little bit. I call it Emotional Roller Coaster on Ragnarok. Taika Waititi has been signed on to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Are you allowed to say that?
I think so.
Sorry, one second. The bird guy is. Hold on. I have birds in my fucking vents, and bird guy is calling me. Give me a second. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep going though. I just need to tell Chris or something.
So, Chris, at first I was very turned off by this because I had visions of Thor throwing a ball against a wall and hitting himself in the head. But then I was forced to remember that Taika Waititi did the last 2 episodes of Mandalorian.
Correct.
Which I think are the best. They're my favorite 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Did you watch that documentary?
You know I did.
Okay, I watched it too.
Dude, Filoni killed it.
I didn't know Filoni was... I didn't know he worked... I didn't know that he worked on King of the Hill, Bobby.
Oh, yeah. I didn't either.
And I didn't know that he worked on Avatar, which are 2 of my cards on the table, probably top 10 animated series of all time. That's enjoy the hell out of both of those.
Yeah.
So that was a great story he told about going to Lucas's office. It's like, okay, if I don't get this job, it's an awesome story, and you got the job.
But dude, all that shit that he was talking about, the Duel of the Fates and all that stuff, like, I was like, man, this guy, he has his mind, like, he gets it, for sure,
Yeah.
So that kind of helped. It's interesting because with Taika Waititi news, I was kind of like, ugh. And then I remembered The Mandalorian, and it made me feel better. And with Dave Filoni, this thing made me forget his contribution to The Mandalorian, which made me feel better.
I think if my opinion on that, is in a situation where you're going to use different directors to tell different parts of a overarching story. I think it is important that they all have their own individual style, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, you might as well just have one person direct it.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there. I just think that I don't like that episode that he did. Like that's the one I enjoyed the least.
I'm back.
Of the okay, Joe, I want to tell you something real quick of The Mandalorian, the one with the sniper, Chris.
Okay.
No, I'm talking to Chris now. I'm talking to both of you, but the sniper episode on Mos Eisley, Chris, that one. Do you remember talking about? Yeah. So that's the episode I enjoyed the least of that series, and that's the one that Filoni did.
Something with bones in it.
too much nostalgia pulling, right?
Yeah, and not enough meat on the bone.
You didn't like the Gangsta guy, or like
Yeah, and I hate that fucking kid. But I'm saying that to say this is that like that made me, because I love Filoni and I love what he did with Clone Wars. But that when I saw that, I was like, oh god, maybe he's best suited for animation. But Joe, I was saying that I also watched where we were talking about the gallery, which is like the behind the scenes of Mandalorian on Disney Plus. And there's a round table, and on that round table, Filoni talks about Duel of the Fates and like the battle between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and why it's so important. And he like goes into this monologue. It's like the last 10 minutes of it. I highly recommend it. But he talks about how like, you know, Anakin doesn't have a father. Qui-Gon is the father that he needs. So Darth Maul and him, you know, fighting is literally the duel of the fates of the different possible fates that Anakin will turn out. If Qui-Gon wins, he'll be the father that Anakin needs and kind of bring him up right, so to speak. But if he loses, you know, he's going to be left to Obi-Wan, who views it more so as a something that he's like obligated to, you know, and then grows a brothership with, but then Anakin's still left without the father figure, and it like just this like domino effect. So even though Maul lost the fight, he won the war in a way. And it's like it's to hear him break it down and how he sees it. Like, I mean, it was tearing me up a little bit, you know. Like he loves that shit, and it comes through. The last note is the return of a legend. So the dude who played Django is going to play Boba Fett in Mandalorian season 2.
I mean, technically, he's not just Django. He's all of the clones.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. So that's awesome.
He's also Rex and Cody, and
correct.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rex and Cody, I need to go spend some money.
Are you getting both?
Are you getting the Hot Toys?
I've already got Cody ordered. I need to get Rex ordered.
Does Cody come with the head too?
The head. What head?
No. Oh, well, maybe he does. Maybe he does.
Wait, hang on. Well, I'm sorry. What are you asking? Does he come with what?
Face sculpt.
Yeah, he comes with the head sculpt. He comes with the head sculpt, his helmet, and the you haven't seen it yet. The helmet with stripes on it.
And it has like the he has like a fade, right, Cody? Like his hair.
I don't know about Cody. I know Rex comes with. He's got the blonde.
He's got the blonde hair, right? But Cody's got like a different hairstyle, like altogether.
That's how you tell them apart.
You know what? I say Cody comes with a head sculpt. I'm gonna look right now.
There is a second head sculpt I've seen out there because it's like it's black hair and it's like a fade more so than like just like a low cut. Like Rex has like a low cut, and this other one has like a fade that I've seen.
I'm growing a mullet right now. Shit.
So so Cody comes with a head sculpt. It's almost like a kind of grown out crew cut.
Right.
And then Rex has the tight kind of blonde buzz cut. But it's a realistic style. It's not
Card animated.
It's not the animated style.
Well, none of the animated haircuts were like crazy, right? That I can think of.
No. But but just the style of the face is like the realistic face, you know, like.
You know what got me? That we were going through this on Enter the Realm this week, and there's a picture of it's Rex and Cody and Anakin together. I'm like, fuck me, man.
What got me was Rex holding that Ahsoka helmet.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get the Rex. God bless it.
See, why were you lying last night? You were lying to yourself. You were like, I was like, how many are you gonna get? You said none. And I
said maybe one.
Yeah, but like, why even lie to yourself and say maybe one? You're gonna fucking get it.
Because I don't know how I feel. I don't need Cody. Like I know that. Like
But I didn't ask you about Cody. I asked you about Rex.
Yeah, but you said it. But you were saying how many am I going to get? Right? Because you can like build because of the troopers, you can like build an army.
Right.
But like I'm definitely not getting any troopers. If I were to get one, it would be Rex, and that would be it. But I haven't decided yet. But it's like, God bless it, man. It depends, dude. It depends. It depends on like if Ahsoka's coming, and the fact that they're doing him realistically opens up a whole can of worms.
How are you gonna have a fucking Boba Fett that you don't care about and no fucking Rex?
See, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing.
I know. That's funny.
There's something new on the Sideshow site. There's actually a button you can pay up front for these.
Oh, really?
So it's got my deposit and it says remaining balance. It says pay additional $229.50 now. Pay the subtotal of the order. And, tax and shipping will be charged when the order is ready to ship.
Wow.
I'll just let them not hold my money and not pay me interest. I'll just pay the deposit and be done.
Huh. I might start taking advantage of some of that in the future, you know, like, because there are times where I'm like, man, I just wish I have the money right now. I'm not sure I'll have it like that. And you know what I mean?
That's why you usually pay off, like, when I buy stuff from Sideshow, I always pay off the whole fucking thing.
Right.
Because like it hits you, right? When you forget about a fucking thing, like the Stanley figures, and then this drop is like, oh, by the way, you owe $200. I'm like, what? I didn't realize I had to save $200 for this shit.
Well,
Right.
The good thing about ordering from Sideshow is you always see where it's been released in Hong Kong, so you always have at least a month, if not 2 months before. So if you need to save the money up, you can.
We got a couple questions. The first one is from Esteban, and it's called Statue Life. He said, so for starters, congratulations to Bobby on his newly purchased statue. Sometimes it just takes purchasing one to figure out how you want the rest of the display to look. My question is about the sturdiness and longevity. And then he said, whoa. He said, my wife and I have a few medium-sized statues. They're mainly Disney items like Donald Duck as a stormtrooper, Sally pushing Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before Christmas. All of our statues are single cast, and we don't really understand how the magnetized limbs work on a larger piece. I'm going to leave this to Joe because I'm not established enough in the world yet. He said, I've never handled one, so I don't know how the connection feels when it snaps in or how you can have peace of mind knowing it's not all one solid piece. Can you guys kind of explain how secure the magnet system is, or if with time the connection loses its strength? Just kind of talk about statues. Thanks again.
So it depends on like what brand. I can't speak for all brands, but like of the notable brands, even like Kodo stuff, Kodo Bikia stuff from like 10 years ago, they hold up perfectly fine. It's not like a flat magnet to magnet service connection because they're pegged, so to speak.
Right.
So because the older statues don't have magnets, they're just pegged and they just peg in. But now they have a peg, and the peg has a magnet embedded to keep it secured, and magnet doesn't lose its strength over time. So like it's like if you get decently branded stuff and not some third party no name stuff, like it will hold up, no problem. I've moved, like my darkness thing is literally 70 pounds, and I've moved it like twice, and it's fine.
I will say that like so one of the frustrating things that I had with this Soundwave one was like the pieces that had magnets, a lot of their contact points were like kind of snug anyway. And then some of the pieces that didn't have magnets, I'm like, oh, I wish they had a magnet in here. You know what I mean?
It depends on brand. I'm not well versed in Imaginary Arts.
Yeah.
Because like, even when we played with the Optimus Prime, like I wasn't the most thrilled about the way they connect stuff.
Yes.
Like it looks great, but the way they have assembly, it was not, it was no XM or fucking
right.
So M1.
So I can just say from my limited experience, luckily the looser connections have gravity to kind of keep them in place. And the magnetized connections are snug. So I feel like even if the magnets do fail at some point, like this shit's not budging, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, I would say research the brand and like what exact figure you want, and like if it's not a brand new figure that you're looking at, that is something already existed, like look up reviews, like and statue forums. Statue forums are pretty fucking good. They're not as toxic as some other fucking fandoms. Like the statue forums are pretty fucking helpful.
See, that conversation is a conversation worth having on another day. How the budget of a brand, for lack of a better term, plays into the toxicity of the fandom.
you couldn't have fucking raw some feathers, bro.
I know it. I get it.
They're gonna be Bobby got a statue now. He's gonna be an elitist.
Yeah, well, look, when I have to deal with the peasants, Joe, then no, I'm kidding. I got this fucking Imaginary March statue, and I was super excited about getting it. And guess what? I have the fucking $10 Baby Yoda showing up any minute now, and I'm super excited about that. I'm just a fucking child.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next question is from Paul C. and Esteban. Joe, as soon as maybe this week, Joe, because I'm off for a while. I want Joe, Laura, myself, and maybe Krista too, if she would like to partake, to have a conversation about statues. You know, like
I'm off Friday.
Huh?
I'm off Friday.
I think that's the only day that won't work for me, but fucking shit. But I can do it. Yeah, I can do the evenings.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paul C said, when it comes to movies, who automatically gets a pass from you? What director or actor will you watch regardless of how dumb the movie may look? Conversely, whose name face do you see that immediately gives you an extra hour and 45 minutes of your life because you'll never watch a movie with/by them? To get some deeper dialogue going, Bobby, you cannot choose Gary Oldman or The Rock. We already know how you feel about them if you want to keep it going. The same question applies to TV and music. Christian Bale is one of those guys for me.
Like if you watch it.
I'm probably more interested. Like if it's a movie that I'm not necessarily interested in watching it, but I see starring Christian Bale, I'll be like, oh well, no, I don't think he would sign up for a bad one. You know, it's kind of how I view him.
Have you ever watched Empire of the Sun sidebar?
What was it called again?
Empire of the Sun. He was a.
I thought you said Empire of the Sidebar.
I thought he said.
What?
I thought he said Empire of a Sunset Bar. I was like, I've never had that candy.
No, yeah, Christian Bale as a child actor. He was in it.
No, Empire of the Sun.
Was in it.
Empire. Wait, Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It was like in the 80s.
Yeah, it's an old movie.
I saw it.
It was good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And like Steifer from The Matrix was in it.
So I'm sure it was good. I didn't like it as a kid, but that's mainly because 10 minutes in, I was like, this isn't fucking Star Wars. You know,
fair.
It is a more mature movie. It is like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I owe it another watch. But like he's one.
He's been great since I was a child. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is a guy that like if I see he's in it, I'll be like, I'm probably gonna give it a shot. If Pacino is one of those guys for me, just because, I think that he definitely has a lane, but I just enjoy that lane. I'll tell you who I'm reluctant to say, but it's becoming a fucking fact, is DiCaprio.
You know, that's probably going to be my guy. I mean, I can't think of many of his movies I've ever seen.
Dude, I watched a movie with him fighting a bear and was interested.
Yeah. I mean, like Catch Me If You Can. Mm-hmm. That's just, if it's on, I'm going to fucking watch it. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Well, I'll say Tom Hanks then, since he was in that movie too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a solid choice.
You can't go wrong with Tom Hanks. Even if Tom Hanks like Big and like the Mermaid, no, not Mermaid movie. Yeah, Big, right? Was the one with the
and Forrest Gump.
And the Forrest Gump, obviously.
Yeah, I need Tom. I don't know if I said it on this show, but I need Tom Hanks at the end of the year to read the events of 2020 as Forrest Gump. And just like that, the murder hornet showed up out of nowhere. Everybody had the coronavirus. My mama told me just to drink an extra Dr. Pepper every day.
Oh, dude.
Dude, you need to make a whole monologue, record it, and put it up, bro.
Yes.
Maybe I'll just do it myself.
Let's see. I'm trying to think who. Tom Cruise is one of the people that I'll pass on. That I'll be like, nope.
Jared Leto is for me.
You know, he might have been. I get Jared Leto confused with one other guy.
But like, I can't even say that because there are movies with Jared Leto that I do like.
Right.
Like fucking Fight Club. He was in goddamn Fight Club.
Yeah. That's great. You know what? Brad Pitt's a guy that I'll usually be like, man, I want to watch this movie because he's in it. Like he's a good actor.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'll take that.
You know that guy that plays. Well, you don't know Joe. We've already established that. But Chris, maybe did you see Inglourious Basterds, Chris?
It's been a long time ago. Yeah, I saw it like when it came out.
The dude that plays the German in it, like the main villain of it.
Oh God, what is that guy's name? I know exactly.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like I would watch a movie with him in it just because I enjoy it. Like I love him in Inglourious Basterds.
Harrison Ford. I like Harrison Ford movies. I like What Lies Beneath.
Joe, you've cornered me. You've cornered me, Joe. And because I want to say something, but at the same time, you will not have me disgrace the legacy of Han Solo on this fucking podcast.
It's Christoph Waltz is who you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, the Rock is one of those guys. I mean, like, look, like, you know, like, not for nothing, I know it's a sensitive subject here, but like Keanu Reeves is usually somebody that steers me away, but I love Bram Stoker's Dracula, and can, even though I think some of his delivery is goofy, I find a lot of what he does in that movie to deliver. And I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as well. Like, and I mean that sincerely. Like, I love that fucking movie. And who else? Oh, Nick Cage is a guy that usually will steer me away from media.
Yeah, but he wasn't some good shit. He was great in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, totally agree.
I'm not saying they're good movies by any means, but I really enjoyed The Rock. I enjoyed the movie. And fucking Con Air and fucking Snake Eyes?
Dude, I love in Con Air that gif of him with like the mullet blowing in the breeze and him like rolling his eyes into the back of his head.
Oh, City of Angels. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know, maybe because of the age thing. Like, I watched a lot of those movies when, you know, I was in high school. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
they're not good, but I enjoy some Nick Cage movies.
Is there any actors? And Nolan for directors. I'll watch any fucking Nolan movie. Like, even if I don't think it's his best work, I never think it's trash. You know. Is there anybody, Chris, for you that you're like, nah, I'm out because of this actor or this?
John Cusack.
Oh, that's right. Oh, wow. That's right. You hate that dude.
And I don't really have a good reason why. I just don't like it. There's a couple more.
I love that you hate him. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's like I feel like I'm going to be in a bar one night and they're going to be like John Cusack. Who hates John Cusack? And I'd be like, I know a guy. Like, I just feel like that moment is going to happen to me.
Like he's holding a fucking boombox outside the window and shit.
I think because he was like, there's a movie he's in with, it's Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie. I think it's the movie they met on where they're air traffic controllers.
I don't know.
It's from the 90s or maybe early 2000s. But like, I remember when I was working in the film industry, we had a preview copy of that, and we all passed it around and watched it. And oh god, it's the thought of seeing that man on film makes me cringe. Like, if he was in the next John Wick movie, I'd have to really think hard about whether I wanted to watch it or not.
I mean, well, that's another story. But John Wick 3 has made me like, I'm not sure how many movies more of this I can take.
Well, it might be getting a little fast and furious, but yeah, I'm still down.
2, 3 is like, Bobby, I know you said you're going to watch them all for Chris. Like, just stick with 1 and 2. I don't think you can.
I like. Well,
he's not going to skip
this. Chris is going to his high voice.
No, I'm wondering what exactly it is that has you on the fence there, Joe, in 3.
Well, 3 wasn't as well received, right? Like, even by the fans. Like, I feel like I listen to podcasts where they talk about 3 the same way people talk about Godfather 3. Like, just
you watch 1 and you watch 3, it's totally different fucking universe.
It is. I mean, it takes place within like 3 weeks or some shit like that, or 4 weeks or something. But
seriously, I don't think, unless it was like a homework assignment, I don't think Bobby could sit through the entire third movie.
It's possible.
Well, I'll tell you, let's take it. Let's treat this like alcohol recovery, okay? And we'll take it one day at a time. We're gonna do one film at a time. Yeah, we're gonna do the first one, and then we'll do the second one, and then we'll talk and make a decision whether or not it's beneficial for me to see the third one.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay. We have one more question from the minister. I'm going to save it for next week because it's the last question. Questions haven't been rolling in by the boatload, so it's good to have one kind of on the bumper. A lot of our nerd weeks and kind of, Rona's talk and then stuff has been going on. And I want to say this. I do want to say this to close it out. I am starting. I didn't want to open with this because I didn't want it to be a bummer. But I am starting. It's starting to wear on me. And it's not the fear or anxiety that I do have at some level in regards to both due to these floors that for some reason need to remain clean, but it's because of not seeing and hanging out. It's starting to get to me where like I miss hanging out. I miss dinners with you two. I miss doing Nerve Rage with you two. I miss this weekend is supposed to be Skullfest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know Cody's super bummed because he's supposed to be flying out like right now.
Yeah,
Like, literally.
you know, like some of that shit is starting to get to me. Where like, and I picked up on. I mean, maybe I misread. Totally forgive me if it's true, but I picked up. I felt like I picked up on a little bit of it earlier in the show when Chris was talking, and he was like about his nerd week, and he was like, well, you know, what else? I fucking slept and I've stayed in the house. You know, like there seemed to be like a little hint of it in there too, of just like needing to fucking, you know, pick the fucking flies out of somebody else's hair. You know what I mean?
I had a moment
reference.
a couple weekends ago where it was like I just got antsy to not be in my house, which I'm a homebody. I like being here. You guys are too.
Yep.
But it's just like, and you know, obviously my situation's different. You guys, whether you like the people you see at work or not, you see other people.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still going out like 3 times a week to work, 4 times a week to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like the people I work with, to be fair.
But I did have a thought on that note, Bobby. It's oh man, it's going to be like, you know, you guys. I'm sure you guys had MySpace back in the day. You remember how people would catch feelings if they weren't on your top.
Oh, your top eight.
So now it's like, man, how come I'm not one of your 10? How come I'm not? Because you can only have 10 people around, right? So let's say, I mean, Bobby. Sorry, Joe. If the skull faces and the Pinkertons get together, that's 10. Sorry.
Yep, that's fine.
That's crazy though. You know, to think about.
I'm in delivery distance. I'm good.
I'll have to write Hogan and be like, hey man, what do you think about 12? How's 12 sounding? But yeah, like I mean, and then like, what does that day look like, right? Like when they're like, look, you can have, you know, gatherings or whatever, but they got to be under, you know, a certain number. Like, who's comfortable with that?
So I'll tell you, my neighbor across the street had like probably 10 people all outside in his yard over the weekend, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. I mean, like, so here's the thing, and like we talked about it a little bit in the chat, and I feel like Joe and I could get into the woods on this, so like I don't want to take too much time on it, and I feel like Joe and I could do something for the Patreon to talk about it because we have you know, we're seeing it a little bit more firsthand perhaps because we do have to go to work, but like the way that like because I can't deal with negative shit all the time. Right, I can't. I don't have it in me. I need to keep my life balanced. Like I need to have positive energy around me, or I will fall into a well mentally. And once I fall into that well, it's very fucking hard to get me out of it. And I usually fall in around November, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I've had it in my head, right, is like, and I'm gonna leave on this note just because I don't think this is bleak. Memphis bleak. If you have a banquet hall and you invite 100 people into that banquet hall, 85 are going to walk out no problem. 19 are going to stumble out, and 1 is not coming out at all. That's the American average. Now, if we expand that to the world, there's 3 or 4 that aren't coming out. And that sucks. I know 100 people. That's a weird flex, but I'm okay with it. And I would hate to lose 3. But I'd also hate to lose 97. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's something that has given me and my mental instability some comfort. I'm not sure if it will do it for you. With that, I want to shout out the rest of the cool table, Shattercast, Enter the Realm, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, Building Up to It, Fresh Communications, Verbally Challenged, and Breaking the Mold. And shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team. Phil, still kicking ass with our notes. Even though there's no fucking notes to be had, he scours through the sewers and finds 2 or 3 that are worth a fuck every week. So thank you, Phil. And also does our Twitter. Shout out to Dante, still out there protecting himself amongst all that raw dog in air. and handling our Facebook. Shout out to Manny behind the scenes. Shout out to Raul on Instagram, of course. Shout out to the whole Star Wars crew, Andy and Gort, and even like Tyler and Andy and I had a Star Wars conversation recently that was pretty good, and Esteban on the Force Sensitive Instagram. And with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty taint.
tight dick player.